A Fitness Today presents. We acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and all the other traditional custodians of the lands on which we live and work in Australia. We pay respect to them as First Nations people with continuing connections to land, place, waters, and community. Thank you for having us on this land. Welcome to Season 12A of the Listen by Heart podcast, where we feature stories from women of the South China Sea. I'm your host, Jasmine H, and I have Huang, a comedian currently residing in Australia, originally from Chongqing, one of the planet's largest cities with a population of 9 million when I last visited in 2003, at the time the Three Gorges Dam was being built. Mm-hmm. And that number has grown to 17 million 20 years later today. A play on her name, Huang means the second longest river in China and the sixth longest in the world. Huang Huang, on the other hand, is her name, and she's been cleverly tongue-twisting, playing with verbs and nouns in the English language to show how a woman with so many talents, who also happens to be Chinese, in a world of economic cold wars. Mm. We, however, through this podcast are peacekeepers, and each of us sentinels of peace. In preparing for this interview, we both went for a Malaysian laksa brunch, just so that we could stir up a richer conversation, spiced by coconut milk and chili in a soupy broth, and speaking to a totally unbeknownst stranger, Antonio, who was actually a flight steward in Sydney for a day, who very kindly shared his table with us. Chongqing. Yes. The land where you were born. Tell us about it.
I was actually talking to you about this book I'm reading, River Town by Peter Hessler. It's a very famous book published a while ago, but somehow it's so strange. Me as someone from China, from Chongqing, born and raised there, feel nostalgia in reading that book because that author went to one of the town in Chongqing, which was my cousin's hometown there. He was an English teacher for 2 years, and then he just described everything he experienced in 1990s, which the era I grew up. So I feel like, oh my God, I read all the stuff. It's like, I feel that like it's like how I grew up, right? So my hometown is a small town inside Chongqing. Chongqing is a province, looks like a chicken drumstick. Yeah.
You ordered chicken drumstick.
Yeah. Chicken drumstick. And my hometown is at the bottom of it. So it's when I was a kid, it take us 8 hours or 9 hours by bus to go to the main city. Yeah, so my county was one of the 5 poorest county, as statistics shows.
What is the name of the county?
Qianjiang. It's called Qianjiang. Basically means Black River, Black River. And as I grew up in that small county, mountainous area. But my parents, they are self-made, middle class. So I was born in a house they rented at a friend's place. But then they worked really hard. And I didn't suffer at all growing up as a kid.
So you were the only child?
Yeah, I'm the only kid because they cannot have more than one kid because they work for the local government. And for them at that time, I think having a stable job is much more important than having more kids. Mm-hmm. So they didn't want to risk anything. So I was the only kid. I didn't suffer that much, even though my county is not really wealthy county. And so my memory about childhood was very nice. Just a lot of mountains, yeah.
Give us a picture, because here we're listening to your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Give us this picture in our mind's eye. When you wake up in the morning, what do you see?
Mountains.
Wow.
Yes. My current apartment, not my apartment, my parents. Maybe in the future it's my apartment. Who knows? But I'm the only kid, so it's probably my apartment. It's next to the mountains, my room. And when I wake up, I can hear the birds twitching or twittering. What's the word, English word for that? And it's not as aggressive as Australian birds all the time. It's very scary.
You mean magpie?
Not magpies, all the birds here, when they're happy, they're it's just like they're fighting. It sounds like they're fighting. Yeah.
A bit like a meteor, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So in my hometown, the birds are just like a very sweet, like sing some songs. So that's when I wake up, and then there's mountains next to me, and smell the wood, and
Burning wood, you mean?
yeah, sometimes burning, sometimes not burning. Some just like fresh, and sometimes you hear someone going up the mountains to practice their vocal range. It's like like I will hear that too sometimes, but most of the time quiet.
What is your town most famous for, besides you now?
Oh, I don't think they know me. They're probably like, oh my gosh, she's the one who is like, because like my bit was very controversial in China. So they probably don't think that's famous for them. But other than that, my hometown, we are ethnic minorities. So we have ethnic Miao and Tujia, two ethnic minorities used to reside in that county. And a dish from my hometown is really famous. It's basically chicken giblets, all the internal organs, and stir fry them, put in a dry pot stew. So it's called qianjiang, chicken giblets.
Okay.
So that's pretty famous now, all starting spreading to China, all over China. Other than that, not really, just poverty, I think. It used to be famous for poverty. Beautiful scenery because it's mountainous. It has a large, a chunk of primitive forest. Nobody touch it. We're not white people. We don't want to go inside and trail or camping. We just leave it. Only people go inside it is like the people who wants to get mushroom out of it. Not like the mushroom, edible mushroom to eat. And the mushroom farmers, rangers, forest keepers, other commoners, ordinary people never have the curiosity to go inside, just like live it.
So allow us to understand, like your name is Huang.
Huang He, yeah, He Huang, that's English way.
Oh, He Huang is English way. So
Yeah.
Chinese way is Huang He.
Yeah, Chinese is always last name first.
Okay.
Huang He, Huang He.
So your surname is actually Huang, which
Yeah,
means it's
yellow.
Wang, right? Or
No, it's yellow. Means
Yellow.
yellow. Yeah, yellow.
it means yellow?
Yeah.
So that's why I dressed up for it.
I have a joke about it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, I'm actually from a yellow family, but not other all Asians are from yellow family, but I am from the yellow
Like the
family.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
Simpsons are Chinese.
Really?
They're yellow.
Yeah, they're all yellow. Yeah, they have some very dark humor as well.
But that origin of that surname, Huang surname, do you know anything?
Because Huang is actually not very rare surnames.
It's quite common, is it?
It's very common. The top 10 in China. Like, consider we have 1.4 billion people in China. Top 10, it's like thousands of millions of people there. So, not really uncommon. So people say it's from the the Huang Emperor, or trace back to all the origin of Han Chinese.
Yeah.
Someone says this and that, but I don't know. For me, I think it's all like fairy tale or myth.
The Huang Emperor, is he the one that wears yellow?
Not really. I don't know.
There's one emperor that just is all dressed up in yellow. It's a yellow garb, and it's very linked to like royalty.
I mean, yellow in general, like close to gold, right? And then yellow in the emperor or dynasty is always a color for the royal family, the emperors, the rulers. I don't think normal people will wear that. Yeah.
So actually, it's quite a compliment if someone says you're yellow, I guess.
Yes. I mean, in China, people are really proud of saying we're yellow. There's a song.
Blue blood thing comes then. So
Blue blood, what does that
have
mean?
you heard of blue bloods?
The nobles?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
being blue blooded, they say. That means
Oh, right. I forgot. I think when I learned English, I was trying to collect all the
Yeah,
colors. It was
yeah.
so funny. I have a notebook of like,
Yeah.
what's the phrase for black? Black sheep.
Right.
What's all the phrase related to English? And blue blood was I also blue film.
Yeah.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, interesting. It's like you can be one here, one not here. It's like very interesting.
Paper on colors in university.
I was intriguing because I was a language student. That's mostly I wanted to see why. Yeah,
Where did you study?
I studied in uni in Beijing. It's a university for ethnic minorities. So in our university, we have a lot of Tibetans, Uyghurs, the Chinese, Korean Chinese, and me as one of the minority as well. So Han Chinese was actually the minority in a university because I wanted to keep the quota of Han Chinese less than half the percentage. So we have lots of events in our university. We celebrate so many New Years from different ethnicity. That was a fun time. Like for our class to go eat together, like we have a group eating, event. We have always go to halal food because we have so many Muslim in our class as well, Muslim Chinese. And yeah, that was a fun time. We have lots of halal restaurants near our university.
How far is Beijing from Chongqing?
2 hours and a half by flight, 25 hours by train.
Oh, wow, that's quite a distance.
It is very far. Yeah.
It's about 700-800 kilometers, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty far. Yeah.
So you left Chongqing for studies to Beijing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to trace where your path and how you've actually come to Australia.
Oh.
So tell us a little bit more. After university, what happened then?
I think it's so funny because like I didn't know I was such a passionate like travelers when I was a kid because we barely travel, right? Like my parents are very busy working, lifting everybody out of poverty of their family. So they're very busy. And then after I graduated from college, I went to university. So when I went to uni, I wanted to have achieved 4 goals. One of them is to be an exchange student. So I got a chance to go to the US in my junior year, third year of college. So I went to the US, did a year of study there, which opened up my whole world to the rest.
Washington, was it?
No, it's actually State University of New York. So yeah,
big city.
yeah, I was on Long Island, so not like in the city. So like the SUNY, they call State University, they have different branches. I didn't know that, and now I know it's actually the college I went is more like a social community college. So the most famous ones was in upstate New York, like Stony Brook, and mine is like very small college, kind of community college. But that's the first year I did in the U.S. That's where it changed a lot about me. I started to understand, what kind of lies people have told me I received in the university, and I started my English improved a lot. I started to develop a sense of self, who I am as a person without my parents surrounding me, right? So that's where it started. And I go back to China, finish my college. I did a year of social, like a Peace Corps, but it's in China. So I did a year of volunteer service back in my hometown. And then after that, I went back to the U.S. for my master's degree. I finished my master's degree in the U.S. and
In which subject?
Politics, public policy analysis. It's so funny. When I did my study, one of my friends was like, "You're not cut for this," and I was like, "Wow, how did you know?" But now I'm thinking she's right. Yeah, I'm not really cut for politics, even though I have a passion for politics. But I think it just takes a lot out of you if you wanted to progress in politics. Doesn't matter which country you are, it's the same, But I did my master degree there and I finished it. I started to work there, so I spent like about 6 years in the U.S. After a while, all my friends start to settle down. They're getting citizenship or a very stable job. And I feel like, oh my God, am I going to be like this for the rest of my life? It's so pathetic. At the same time,
working already at that time?
yeah, I was working. I was like, oh shit, I don't really want to end like this, working for a visa and this and that. I feel like I can do more. So I decided wanted to go back to China to do service there. But then when I went back, China has changed a lot since I left.
This was what era? This was 20...
When I went back was 2018.
2018.
Yeah, when I left was 2013. So it was like a 5 years gap.
And it changed so much.
It changed so much. I think it started to change the time I'm leaving, but I didn't sense that much of dramatic change. But when I went back to China, I started to sense so different compared to the time I was in uni, 2008 to 12. It's like there's so much nervousness around any arts or anything public speaking. I can tell my friends, my coworkers, they're not at ease, and it's so funny because like when you go back, you have the reverse culture shock, and you just realize you changed a lot. My parents was actually the one who's so smart. They're like, I don't think you're gonna get used to work in China. You never work here. They probably know how I am as a person. I was like, what are you talking about? I grew up in China. Of course I'm going to get used to this. But when I went back, I'm so used to in the States, you work and then socialize or not after work. It's optional.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to do all the stuff like how Asian we do a day-to-day conversation to do it, you know,
Or even
kiss.
festivals and
Yeah, the banquets and have to go eating with your senior and stuff like that. It's not I'm used to, and I think I'm gonna I will I wanted to go back at that moment. I don't want it to go back. It's so funny. People are not used because like when you are the one who's not conform to the rules, other people feel at unease as well. I remember one time we were away on a business trip to Shenzhen, and then the people who are our business partner, they had to treat us with a fancy big meals, and all I wanted to eat just chicken neck.
snack.
It's just like chicken neck, chicken giblets, everything chicken inside of the chicken. I was like, I just wanted to
Because you love the planet.
buy.
You don't throw anything away.
Yeah.
Right?
I wanted to, after work, all I wanted is just to go to this vendor I love and then buy a bag of chicken neck and chicken liver and chicken giblets and go back to my hotel and
And
eat.
watch Netflix.
Yes, and go back to my hotel and eat. But then they're like, "Oh, we you have to come to us. I'm gonna take you to this like a fancy seafood restaurant. It's so good, and I'm gonna bring all those fancy drinks." I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't want to go." I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go." But then for them, if you don't go, that means you're not happy with their work. But which is so unnecessary. Like for us, it's like if you do your work right, it doesn't really impact me if you treat me with seafood or not. I don't really want to eat that. So that's the thing in China. Like, I think if I stay there long enough, I will become like them, which I don't like. So that's when I decided I want to leave and then try to give it a go for comedy, coming to Australia. Yeah, that's before I came to Australia.
Going back to the surnames, before we actually went all around the world, I mean, this global mobility thing is amazing.
It is amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Today we were just talking to a guy, a dude.
Just came here the first day.
Exactly, right. And he was from Sicily and he ended up in Dubai and he's flying with the Emirates Airlines and then he's in Sydney.
Yeah.
That's
First day with his fancy new shoes.
fancy white new shoes with like noodle
He was
stains.
very proud of his new shoe. I feel bad for him because like, oh my god, it's raining outside.
So sweet, Antonio.
He is. He's very
Hi,
sweet.
Antonio.
Antonia.
Anyway, I understand that surname. Going back to that surname,
Mm-hmm.
do you know what your grandparents and your great grandparents, what were they doing?
They're just farmers. We have a book, a family tree book, so we know exactly where they are. Like the trace back to generations up there.
How many generations back can you trace?
I haven't checked. I got bored, but it's like this
You have a
thick.
book. Wow.
Yeah, because everybody they never leave.
I
Of course,
see.
everybody know who they are. Just open the book. That's your 23andMe.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a joke about it. I was like, "Whoa, 23andMe," because like it's mountain. Because if you have never been to that area, you probably hard to imagine how hard to get in and out. One of the example I can show you is like it's like Australia. My home town or home region was a place in ancient times. If you did something bad
Yeah.
with the central government, you will be exiled to my area.
Oh.
So most of them on the way died because it's so harsh. You have to go through mountains and this and that,
It's like what
floating
you
the
see-
rivers.
Yeah, it's like what you see in the cinema, right?
Yeah, like floating the rivers,
mountains and-
climbing the mountains. It's like my grandpa when he was younger has to walk 2 days for a work meeting. That's how difficult to get out. So a lot of them just in the books. So we know who they are. Someone, if you marry to another village, it's far. That's my mom said. It's so far. She married too far.
And so, where was your mom from?
My mom from a village in another town. My dad from the same town but another village.
Right.
So it's 2 hours drive from the town level to my mom's place, 2 hours drive from my mom's place to my dad's place.
And you spend a lot of time with your grandparents, I understand.
Yeah, from my mom's side,
Okay.
because like my mom and dad has to work, so every summer break throughout the like primary school and then winter break, I have to go with my grandparents. They can take care of me, or with my younger auntie because she's a teacher. So I spent a lot of time with them when I was in primary schools. After primary school, because I have to study all the time, so I cannot leave the town. Most just like doing my homework. So boring, yeah. Just tutoring.
What other entertainment did you do when you were there?
You mean in the countryside? Oh, we just did a lot of stuff with the kids around that neighborhood. We go mountain sliding, or catch a bird, catch a crab, and going through those caves, like the caves, how you can trap, maybe get a rescue, but we don't have the rescue service. And or just go to different eating banquet with my grandma. Someone dies, someone get a baby, someone's funeral, my grandma. The job duties of a woman in a village is always helping out cooking. So whenever some household have some events or some big stuff happening, all the women in the village just kind of gather together like a self-made catering company. So they're just cook and gossip. I was just sitting next to them, listen to the gossip. It was so fun. Yeah, they cook all the delicious food. So good.
It's really very community, basically.
Yeah, they all have the same last name, of course. It is literally the same last name everywhere you go.
Last name?
My mom's last name is really rare. It's tall.
Do you want to actually have that on the podcast? I can remove it if you don't want to.
Oh, no, people probably don't know. It's like only 1 million something in China. Yeah, tall. It's very rare.
How
Yeah,
do you spell that in English?
TUO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really rare. Someone says it's because her ancestor is what is called exile or culprit, and they escaped to other region. That's how they changed the name. I don't know what happened, but their name definitely changed from someone other name, so they avoid the government, I don't know, hunting down. But her last name is really rare. But the whole village has that last name.
So from that village, I understand last week you were in another village in Australia, and this village was called Darwin.
It's not a village, it's a city, Darwin City.
It's a pretty big village.
Hold on, it's not last week. Yeah, but 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks ago.
I mean, it's one of the most remote cities in Australia, but
Yeah, it's close to Asia though.
it's close to Asia. Exactly.
Yeah,
I was
Japan,
just gonna say it
Malaysia.
is so close. I think it's only by like 1 or 2 hours by boat from Indonesia.
Yeah, there's a lot of Asians there. Feels like a good tropical city. I like it. The reason I like Darwin is I went there twice. Every time I do my show, and I realized a lot of people in Darwin like my stuff. It's so surprising. Last year I went there, I didn't even have anything. Like 140 people came to my show. Just came. I don't know why. And then a lot of them stayed, hang out with me, buy me a lot of shots. I was so drunk. Yeah, it was so fun. It was really fun. Yeah, I was surprised too. But it's a little bit remote. Is it remote Darwin or Cairns?
Cairns is also quite, but Cairns, I think I can't comment on Cairns. Sorry, I'm not in there.
It's even smaller.
The furthest up north I've been is Mackay, which is actually near.
I went there too.
Yeah,
To a comedy road show there.
Yeah.
Mackay, is it
You've
city?
traveled to more cities than any of us have been.
Yeah, because of the comedy. Is the city of mangoes or the city of the
Rum,
rum? Yes.
sugarcane.
Yeah, sugar cane. That's the thing. So because we drove there, it's like kilometers of sugar cane. So many of them. I love sugar cane. There's such a summer treats for me when I was a kid, because you buy those sugar canes on the street, just like chew them. That's why I have a strong teeth, because I chew sugar cane and chicken bones.
Top cookie.
I love it. I'm so scared whenever I date someone, they look at me eating chicken. Because you know how girls, they eat chicken, they have like,
eating the best bits, the marrow, right?
I'm like, oh my God, all the girls I've been with, like my girlfriends, friends, they eat chicken, when they have a chicken drumstick. Yeah, they're so girly. I was like, oh my God, how can it be like that? They eat and they're so polite and they never make it a thing out of it. When I eat chicken, especially the bone area, nothing left. Literally.
You need to make a video on how to eat chicken.
Okay, cool. But I love the part when the joints sounds so cruel. The connected, they're so crunchy, so good.
That's the best part of the
Yeah.
meat.
My current date when I brought him to eat Chinese barbecue and chicken feet, he just like stare at me. And I was like, oh, cool. That's how you eat chicken. I was like, well, don't stare at me. This okay. First of all, a disclaimer. This is not all Chinese. How all Chinese eat chicken feet. Okay, I'm just the most cruel one. When you see a whole feet inside my mouth, nothing left. Just a few left over, like a little bit. He was like, wow, you did just chew the whole thing? I was like, yeah, I did chew the whole thing. I was like, stop looking at me.
You know what? If I have another podcast, right? And we were actually interviewing a dentist. And she shared that today's humans, we are not using our teeth and jaw the way we should be. Exactly. We should be eating the way you are. And therefore, a lot of young children have this overbite on the jaw. So
What is overbite?
Meaning that the bottom jaw is growing faster than the top.
Okay.
And then they have to wear braces to restrain it. And really, really painful. And it's not natural.
Oh, no.
But it's also because a lot of things that we're eating today is soft.
Yeah.
Look at the chicken that we're eating. There's no bones. It's just a square piece of meat.
Okay, don't get me wrong though. I also love soft peach.
Sure.
And also I don't like apples because apples are too crunchy. It hurts my teeth. Wow. On the other hand, I can chew a bone. So I think
That's a really good gift. We should all try it.
yeah, guys should try it. It's so good. Oh my God.
I do that with prawn heads. I love prawn heads.
Oh, I think it's different because you are more a sea people, right? I'm more mountain people. Chicken feet, that's something I grew up with, and I'm really comfortable eating and chewing it. But for prawn head, I'm probably not really comfortable doing it.
So
Yeah.
You didn't really get so excited with prawn. Right?
Yeah, it's not something I'm used to or like I'm excited about.
Is
But
it landlocked?
yes, because I'm like a mountain, and I'd be more excited with the bone stuff. Oh my God, you should never invite me to eat a pork feet. That would be even more embarrassing. My whole face will be covered with grease. Literally, I was like,
Is that why women from Chongqing have such beautiful skin?
I have no idea.
Because there's so much collagen in them.
Maybe, but more because of the humidity and then all those like spice, and also we have a lot of mountains you have to climb. That's I think genetically you have to just go through a lot. Not the pork feet, and also a lot of women. Oh my God, yeah, we do eat a lot of pork feet. It's so good, but not
There's a lot of collagen in that.
yeah, but not all.
Freeze
Yeah,
of,
don't get me wrong though. Not all Chinese women from Chongqing eat pork feet like the way I do. Most of them, most of them are very gentle lady, well behaved, ladylike. Me is like, you know how big this pork feet is? Yes, because like everybody's so polite, and I look at the pork feet like this big. I was like, how you can eat this without using your two hands and then grab it and just like twist and eat, twist, and let's get the most out of it.
I'm going to go and eat pork feet with you now.
You cannot eat that. I sit there whenever I go a business meeting or like meeting with senior my parents. I always feel uneasy because like I look at those feet and then look at all the stuff. I'm like, oh, what a waste. What a waste. I cannot behave. I cannot just like, let's go, let's throw. All this like people who much older than me just look at me. I cannot do that.
All this material that you've come up with for your show,
Uh-huh.
how does it come to you? Is it like while you're eating something and then ding?
Oh, I still have a lot. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna do a new show by the end of this year, talking about cultural difference,
Yeah.
and that stuff is not too new. It's like stuff I've been writing when I'm traveling and stuff, but I haven't get the chance to make them more polished. And yeah, just whenever I have a chance, I just take a note on my phone and on my notebook. My notebook is very, very treasury to me. It's like I cannot lose them. So I'm thinking about digitize them, but there we just write stuff on it.
So
Yeah.
we usually just use like a pen and paper still.
Sometimes pen and paper, sometimes just on my phone. It's a lot of stuff, note taking apps on my phone as well.
I've always been very curious about this part, right? On IP. How do you protect your stuff?
You know, I'm new to this too. Even before last year, AGT become viral stuff, right?
Australia's Got Talent.
Yeah, Australian Got Talent, and all I was thinking just to how can I write a joke. I never have a vision about like doing a big theater and this and that. I just want to know. I just want to practice, and to make a joke work. And so I never thought about because I'm not really on the internet. I just have a short attention span on the internet. So I'm not big on watching Twitter, social media. I'm more like watching the whole hour of episode of people's comedy. And that's what I want to try to learn, right? So I didn't have any idea about IP and stuff like that. And since last year, I'm learning a lot because when my bit got viral, I got accused of stealing people's joke.
Oh, you're kidding. Okay, so how do you deal with that?
I didn't do anything because I mean it's normal for comedians to have paranoid thinking because unavoidable if my stuff relate to you, it means it might happen to you as well. So if so in our industry it's called parallel thinking, right? And I checked the people who accuse me stealing their joke. It's like, okay, it does look similar, but first of all, we're not even in the same hemisphere, first of all. And second of all, I don't know. It's just hard to avoid that kind of IP and then people asking you for that. So, and I'm not 24/7 on the internet checking who's write jokes. I don't have a research team to, cross check if my jokes are like a little bit similar to other people's joke. So since then, I've become more and more aware of how to brand myself. And also if they said, oh, your joke has been done by some famous comedian, I would just discard that joke. Because like, make it or not, I'm not gonna depend on one joke, right? And also at the same time, because my AGT bit actually got re-upload and reused by so many other TikTok accounts and then YouTube account, not my account, not AGT account, which is actually illegal because in the contract I signed, the video was not supposed to be used by other accounts. So I don't own the video, so I cannot use to on my TikTok. I can just accept the invitation to collaborate. So if they wanted to sue other TikTok account or not, it's their rights, right? For me, I was looking at that. I was like, okay, that's funny. I can use that to cash out the millions of views, right? At the same time, I was like, okay, now I probably need to be more aware of my output because somebody might use it, right? So if they want to use it, that's fine, but I need to have my watermark on it so people know where to find me, my actual account. So that's something I'm learning on the way. But I think if down the road, I probably definitely need to have management and proper legal team and stuff like that. Now I don't need it. Now I just most of my jokes are in my brain and on my notebooks, on my recording. So those are not finished yet. So it's not on the internet. The bits on the internet you can see from me, they're on my social media. Yeah.
Because I was also thinking like, okay, you make a song, you record it, and then you register it, and there's a way, a system that protects you. But for comedians or podcasters, for example, like this podcast is open source.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we do it on purpose because we know that anybody can use this and share it.
Yeah.
But they can't sort of cut it to put it into theirs. But
Yeah.
some people are already doing that.
Yes.
And with AI now, it's a totally different ball game, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so scared about that. But the whole thing about this is also connect to my journey as a comedian. So when I first started, I was checking out all the Asian comedian what they're doing, and my goal was just to be so unique, nobody can copy me, and also so true to myself, so original, so nobody think, oh, that's fake or something. So that's something I'm trying to create and achieve. And also as a joke matter, right? Like, fabrication, authenticity, and all put in the same joke. And that's something I think you just to be unique. So even AI cannot predict it, or other people cannot predict where you're gonna go. That's a thing I think I'm trying to achieve as a comedian too, as a whatever you want to call on the social media as well. But I still focus on live comedy. So in my live comedy, nobody allowed to record or video recording any of my show unless me recording it. So that's how I protect my properties. Yeah, intellectual property. Yeah.
That's why when you go to shows, they say please do not record, right?
Yeah, because it's under development. Like if I'm ready, I want to record and I wanted to make sure it's a good stuff and good footage to be uploaded and then polished and then post production professionally and I put on the internet. I don't want to put some crappy stuff on the internet.
Actually, it's true. I think that's the beauty of live performing, right? Which is so different from recorded performance.
It's very different. Yeah, because a lot of people, I think especially Asians, we're not really used to go to live performance. You know how Asians are, right? We just work live takes all of our life. It's not like how white people go to have a drink in the pub and enjoy some comedy, and so they just start to learn how to enjoy live comedy, and it's different. I realized the importance of comedy during COVID because I did a lot of Zoom comedy. It's horrifying, which but it was necessary for keep me going. It's so different, and through the laptop, the computer, and doing something, some other people just treat it as a podcast, a background noise. And then when you are confined in a live comedy venue, every audience, like the show you've been to, it's so different from the next show because the audience are different. So it's like yeah, yes, the vibe is different, the feedback is different, the where are you from or your backgrounds are different. So it almost like relies on the comedian skills to create this like community within an hour. Like the community, we reach some same what is called you are on the same level of understanding me or understanding the jokes. So that's just different than if you're sitting at home scrolling and then just browsing on the internet out of context. It's different, but internet comedy has its own beauty, right? It helps me, like people who never been to other places, to understand their comedians, watch hours of their comedy, which is great. But it's not as same as you go to a live show and you experience a lot, which is gonna be edited out, like heckling, and then crowd work, people left, people punch each other. This all gonna be edited out from the last an hour, right? I mean, which all I didn't know until I started to do this, right? Yeah.
What's your big wish? I mean, you've kind of like ticked this box now. Accidental box, right? To be a comedian.
Yes.
Telling me it was
Yeah.
by accident.
It was by accident.
What is your wish? Like, for our world, from where we are now. What is your wish? I mean, it sounds like a big Miss Universe type of question, but
I know. Oh my god, I don't know. Wow.
what is your
China. The university student, Miss Universe shouting. Did you see those pretty girls shouting out their country's name? Italy, Japan was so hilarious. I think I was asking the same question to my comedian friend. I was like, why people take jokes seriously now? And I think what he said was a little bit, what is called, leave a strong impression on me. Because he said, like, because our civilization is about to collapse. I was like, what? Because yeah, if not, why they take jokes so seriously? Yeah, people used to think philosophy, the meaning of life is so serious. We need to talk about it, discuss and debate. Policy is so important because it influences our day-to-day life, our communities, survival. But now people just take jokes so seriously, which is the opposite, like jokes, right? Like even though
people get triggered, maybe.
Yeah, And then there are, for us, it's, and also some of the comedians are funny too. Like, your job is entertainer. So like our job doesn't matter what other stuff you do as a entertainer, as a comedian. Your job is to make people laugh. If you make people laugh, job achieved. I don't know. I don't think you need to intentionally to make people pissed or intentionally to make someone angry. That's another feedback for a comedian, right? So I don't know what's the word, but I just hope my comedy can bring some voice to underrepresented population.
Which you have. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully not everybody hates me, but some of you guys love me too, like you included, right? But at the same time, I wanted to, bring this kind of voice into the mainstream comedy. That's when I first started my goal. My goal was very focused, and to bring our voice into the wide market, to not in a way that I feel comfortable and I feel like, okay, that's authentic, that's true, but that's not too hacky, not too, rely on the stereotypes. Well, still have to rely on a little bit, which because a little bit true. Because we do eat everything. Ah, just kidding. So like I wanted to show that we are all people, people have emotions, we're bonded by emotions. I think that's a lot of why there's a lot of why people like my comedy too, because they're not necessarily Chinese or Asian. They just feel like, oh, I feel your emotion underneath the joke. I think that's something I wish my comedy can achieve, which I think I'm on the track to do that. Other people I cannot say because I think other stuff is just like out the scope of comedy. Comedy is about laughing together, a community together, and make people entertained. That's it. It's not about save the world. I think that should leave to people who are supposed to save the world.
Like the Miss Universes around the world.
Japan, South Korea.
I have a little homework for you when you go home, which actually I found this a very interesting piece of news because Miss Universe, Miss Teen USA, and Miss USA is now owned by somebody in Bangkok.
I saw it. I saw the woman. She was announcing in the end, right? A very many voice. Transgender is she? Lady boy. She is? No.
I think she is.
She is. She looks gorgeous though.
She's amazing. And I think for her to win this franchise,
Why not? Let's just conquer the war. Buy everything.
it really just goes to show that civilization is very, very different today.
Yeah.
You know,
I just don't like the whole idea of pigeon. What is pigeon?
pigeonholing.
Yes, I don't like the idea of it.
Not the one that you eat.
Yeah, another one. The pigeon soup is so good.
Is it?
Have you had the Shanghainese pigeon soup?
No.
So good.
Is it?
It's very nice. I don't like Shanghainese food because they're too bland for me.
Hairy crab. Hairy crab?
Oh, hairy crab. Yeah, I've never had it.
Shanghainese hairy crab.
Yeah, the coast people. Yeah, they're sea people. We are landlocked people are different. But yeah, I think it's so funny because I grew up in I feel like you too. We grew up in an age with no internet, or internet was limited. So I still think, even though nowadays the world look insane on the internet, but day to day life is fine. Like, I travel to many places. I've traveled to more than 20 countries now. I've been to some like the remote area villages. People are pretty peaceful at their own life. It's really pretty and then beautiful to just to talk to people. Do not rely on the internet. But a lot of people still, when you talk to them, they're like, "Yeah, I'm on Facebook too."
So how do we broach this subject of peace? You know, these boys out there that are leading countries. Every day you see like news and this, you turn on the news, it's so sad. There's so much unrest out there.
Yeah,
Testosterone or what is it?
I think
What do you think it is?
I come from a different cultural background, right? Like our Asian culture is so patriotic, like male-dominated culture. I think compared to Asian country, I think the Western country has definitely progressed much more than us. but they still have their own issues. I don't think I have an answer for it, but I think it's more, I don't know, I don't know. I just feel like I'm an atheist, but I say, what I do is I just be good to others. And yeah, because like there's nothing to worry right now. You don't need to worry about what is called in the old ancient times, like transportation is not an issue now. Food scarcity is not an issue now. It's just like imbalanced distribution. And also, what is like death, health is not a big concern. I mean, even a lot of the part still a concern, like undeveloped area. But every disease, most of them are curable nowadays. I just think we need to be more just kind to each other in day-to-day life as a normal people, right? I don't think you can do much as a normal person.
Kindness is a quality that they seek for people who run for politics.
I think environment change people because
True, because
yeah,
we're in an environment that's
you have to do something to survive, and or like the herd mentality. So if you're not one of them, you will be out. So basically, people who run the parliament, run the government, if you're not one of them, you'll be outed, basically. So people who are there, they're part of it. And then sometimes you just feel like, because like people, actually, we are very tiny organism in this organism. I'm thinking about my orgasm too much, which is hard to achieve for women. So I'm like, oh, okay, is it an English word? Why it's so similar? Why it's so confusing? Why penis and peanuts sounds similar? And I like both anyway. Yeah, so I don't think that's a lot can do. Yeah, my dad said, if you want to get power, the way to get power is corrupt.
My dad said, apparently, and we can cut this out if it's not appropriate, you think. My dad said, Deng Xiaoping said, that fish thrive in ponds that are slightly murky.
They're basically the same political theory, like you grease the whale a little bit by corruption, and it's not him brought it first. I mean, he went to Europe to study, so it's a lot of political theories coming from Europe, and that's one of the political theory. That's how a lot of people who study China say that, like, you grease the whale by the corruption, bribery, and then the whale keep moving. Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same. Doesn't matter in China. What my observation is like, you cannot do anything without power. But the way to get power, look at Hillary, look at Joe Biden. They are all powerful people. But do you think they are really clean? They're really nice, kind? No, it's not. I don't think every politician is nice and kind. But their intention might be nice to start with, change the world. But on the way, just so many, because like I've seen a lot, so like it just change you, and also you have to do this to get the power to make some bill passed in China. You have to do this to make this project done, and that can slowly change you.
I think in almost every country, and a lot of people always think that the Western world is not corrupt, but that is so wrong.
They're ignorant.
It's
yeah.
everywhere.
I mean, if they read some books, they would know it's the same. Yeah.
Well, to end the podcast, thank you so much for your time. To end the podcast, we usually have you or the guest read like 5 or 10 minutes of anything that you like.
Okay.
You can even read your own stuff.
I have a book.
Are you allowed to? Actually, I wonder, in terms of, I would love to hear it.
Let me just copyright it. It's a River Town. Yeah.
Can we just say that, how do we do it? Like maybe less than a minute or something. You're allowed to, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think this book is like maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
It's only 100 years and above that. There's no copyright.
All right. Okay.
So if you read from there, I might have to write to them to ask for rights permission. What do you think?
Yeah. I think it would be fine, but I can read for a minute, or I can just read it, and then you can just say if you wanted me to keep reading or not.
Okay.
And
So it's 12:33 now.
it's so interesting because I happened to bring it. Let's start with this.
Maybe you start with the cover title.
Oh, so it's Peter Hessler's book called River Town, 2 Years on the Yangtze. And it was such a good, insightful book about the 2 years he spent as a volunteer in Peace Corps. And let's go. It's on page 201-3. It's a summer. In the 5,000 years of their history, it was striking how little interest the Chinese had in exploration. And today, the same characteristic limited them. Even within their own borders, they seemed completely content in being Chinese, and they assumed that this feelings was shared by everybody else. When the Han went to Western places like Xinjiang or Tibet, their initial reaction was that the people needed to become more like the country's interior, particularly with regard to the modernization. Even if it came at the expense of culture. I had trouble understanding this perspective. To me, it seemed that already too many beautiful places had been modernized too quickly, and I felt that the relatively untouched corners of China should be left that way. But I had never been poor, which made a great difference in the way you saw a place like Xinjiang. Everything looked different to the average Chinese, and I had gained some sense of their perspective. When my writing class studied the American West in the fall, we discussed Western expansion, and I presented my student with the dynamic of the late 19th century. The plain Indians, their culture in jeopardy, were being pressed by white settlers. I asked my class to imagine if they were Americans, citizens, proposing a solution, and nearly all responded like the following to student. The Indians should become a part of American society like everyone else. Even though they are poor and savage, we can help them fund reservations to make them civilized and give them advanced knowledge and experience to change their lifestyle and develop their economy. By this way, we can make them become rich and be suited for modern life. At last, the Indians can get along well with us and advance together. Yeah, that's it. Do you want me to read more? That's it.
I think you've chosen that part because that's basically resonated with you the most.
I'll have lots of them. Yeah, I have highlighted
I'm
it.
going to look out for that book.
Yeah, it's really good. It's very
So
interesting.
He spent a lot of time in China.
Yeah, and his wife has a book about factory girl. Oh. So she followed Chinese American. She followed like a couple of like girls working in a factory, years of their trajectory of life. You know how the sweatshop girls and stuff like that. So and then this book, because he graduated from Princeton, I think Princeton. So he has really good writing. And then this one has the translation Chinese as well, I think. Okay. Yeah, with his Chinese name.
Do you have a message in Chinese for any of your fans listening?
Wow, if any of the fans, Chinese people listening to it, I doubt it. But 恭喜发财，新年快乐，吃好喝好，开开心心，笑口常开。That's it. All the phrase I can use.
So this is episode number 13, which actually in Chinese is a good number, isn't it?
13, I'm not sure. Do we have that?
In Malaysia, we usually have 12th floor, and then 12A, and then 14th floor.
All right, yeah, because
So
13.
I'm gonna call this 12A.
Yeah, sounds good. We can do that. 13, I know it's a bad number for a Christian.
For Christian, but
Yeah.
not for Chinese, I think.
No, not for Chinese. Chinese like 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it sounds like death in Chinese, especially if you're from my region. Yeah, even especially in my hometown, we don't distinguish 死 and 是. So all like with the tongue a little bit twist and like thick sounds, it sounds death. All of them.
Can you say something in your dialect?
Yeah.
Your village dialect, like What's the
Sichuan,
message to your
yeah,
what
Sichuan
is it?
Sichuan dialect.
Sichuan dialect.
Yeah.
Can you say something like hi to your mom or something?
哎呀，大家好，谢谢 Jasmine Low 邀请我到那个播客来谈的。
我是刘芳春。
流芳春，
是
流
刘
芳
芳春。
春天的春 ，spring。
Yes.
芳 is a 草字头的芳。
嗯哼。
刘小姐，刘芳春小姐姐邀请我来那个播客谈话，我也好久没说了呀。所以说，我觉得不是很，我要跟他一个重庆人说话，我才能够用重庆方言。现在的话就感觉有点做作，but yeah, that's it. That's how I say it. And normally I feel more comfortable if I'm chatting with someone who speaks that.
Yes.
So I don't feel like in
It
check.
sounds really a lot of gusto.
Yeah, yeah, it's very strong. That's
I'd love to
why.
visit your hometown one day.
Oh yeah, they're very harsh. Yeah, they're welcome people, but they're pretty blunt.
Okay.
Yeah, blunt people too. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. For someone who's come from this small little harsh hinterland to this harsh, land down south in the southern hemisphere in Australia, you're doing pretty well for yourself, and I have to say thank you for your bravery, for your jokes. Keep it up, and thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me. Please support the podcast, support women in creative industry, and see you next time at my comedy show. Please, yes, please come to see the show.